Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Vinod. Today we are going to learn about the variable. A variable plays a very important role in every programming language. So the same thing in our Scala. So you must have to know about the variables. So please watch this video till the end and you will get whole idea about this variable. So let's start. Before going towards variable, so I would like to give one basic example. So let's suppose we have one glass and we have put it some amount of water. So what does it mean by the glass? Glass is a container and the water it's a value. The same thing happens in our variables too. So whenever we are declaring the any variable and whenever and we are assigning some value. So the value going to store inside the variable and it's occupies some amount of memory. Okay, so let's start our variable. So what is variable? Variable are nothing reserve memory location to store the value. This means when you create a variable, you reserve some space in a memory. Basically, whenever we declare any variable, it will reserve some amount of memory on memory. You a variable declaration is a very simple and you might have learned from different languages to declare the variable. Here also the similar kind of variable, but you can see a small difference here. So Scala has a different syntax for declaring variable. They can be defined as value in the constant or a variable. Okay. If you see here syntax start with the var and name. It's a variable name and data types. Okay. And then we are assigning some values. If we take an example like var, then variable name is anything, whatever you want, you can give it. And string is a data type, and what we are going to store here is a string. India is a string. So if you consider with our example, name is a container and the India is a value. Okay, so if you say like its name is a glass and the India is a water, so what is exactly doing? The India going inside the name means like in the name is a container for the India. Okay, so you understand what is variable and how we can declare the variable. So what are the types of variable? There are two types of variable, one called as mutable and the second called as immutable. So mutable means what? So whenever we declare any variable and later on we want to change that variable, so that is variable is called as a mutable. So let's suppose address. Address might get changed. The person might move from one city to another city and the address will get changed. So we have to change their address. The base example, the example for the mutable. And the second immutable. So if you take an example of pi is a 3.14 value is a constant wherever you go. So this kind of value is a constant. Okay, and this value never get changed. So the when we declare as immutable variable, so means like it's a value is a constant, we cannot change the value of that variable. See, I given some kind of definition of what is immutable. This variable are those variables that allow you to change a value of after declaring the a variable. Mutable variable are defined by the using var. So basically, when we are declaring a mutable variable, we must have to specify a var keyword. The first letter of data type should be the capital letter because the scalar data type is treated as object. So, what see here var, whenever we are declaring mutable variable, we must have to start with the var and variable name is anything whatever you want to give, and data type. Data types, the first letter is always a capital letter and the value is whatever maybe. Okay, so here is example var name and the string the first letter is a capital and other things are name and the India that we are going to store. Immutable, these variables are those variables that do not allow you to change. So what exactly mean by this variable? So whenever what is the mutable means like it will not allowing us to change any variable. Okay. So after the declaration of variable, immutable variable defined by using val. So always this variable defined with a val keyword. The first letter of data should be the capital letter because data type is treated as an object. So if you see major difference between the immutable and mutable. It's a val. A mutable start with the val. Sorry, mutable start with the var, and the immutable start with the val. So once we declare as a val, so the value will not going to change anyway. So these are the two differences that we have. Variable type inference. So these are the interesting topic that we have. So let's suppose we have declared any variable. In other languages, we must have to specify their data types. So let's suppose C, we have to define data types like integer a is equal to something value whatever may be. Okay, here is I am giving 10. Okay, so here we have to specify the whole type. I mean data type we must have to specify, but here what exactly it's saying, like we do not need to provide any data type, so it automatically analyze based on this value. The compiler automatically analyze what type of data that we are going to store here. Okay, that is what the inference means. It automatically uh, identify the type of the data. If you see here, previous example that we were giving like var, then variable name, and then we specified here as a data type, right? So might you remember that the string we given, right? But here if you see the name directly, and then we are assigning some value. So when we run this, and it directly another, the compiler can figure out the what type of data that we are going to store. These are the basic points that we have about the variables. So please keep in mind, we'll see for the practical. Okay, let us see practical. We already learned in previous lecture how to install this IntelliJ, and we ran one program too. So today we are going to run a variable, and we will declare the variable too, and other things we will see in this lecture. So first thing what we will going to do, we will create one separate class for the variable. So what we need to do here, we need to right click on this and go to new. Then we need a Scala, right? So we will go under Scala class, and if you see here there are different multiple option that we have. We need to select the object. Okay, and then we will going to give some variable, a class name, object name, sorry, a variable demo. Okay, so hit the enter, it will create the class for you. So it's a basic structure that we have that created already for us. So I'll include some main method here, main, and then hit the enter. So we got it a main method. So before that, before going towards the variable, I would like to give some print functions. I'll explain some print functions. So there are two types of print function. Print, okay, whenever we want to print any value onto the console, we will going to use a print. Okay, hello world. Okay, so let's suppose we are going to insert a hello world and just run it. If you see here, we got this hello world as an example. So let's print another line. Print welcome India. Okay, and just print it. Just run it. Okay. If you see here, both the line comes into single line. So we need to separate those lines. Okay, so what is the function that we have? Print ln. So just run it, and I will get the desired output. Oh, sorry. Oops, sorry. So we need to provide the println here because we want to separate from this hello world. So later I'll give it, and here we are going. Just wait a moment, we'll get, yeah, if you see here, there is a difference, right? So the hello world is printed on a different line, and you got it right. So whenever we are going to give as a print ln, so it will print to the next line. So let's move towards the variable declaration. So what we are going to do here, we will we will learn about the variable. Okay, variables. So we will see for how to declare the variable. So first thing, var, and then any name. Let's suppose I want to add a city. Okay, and then city always in the string. What city name is? Let's suppose Pune. Okay, and then hit the enter. I want to print. Okay, here I have declared the variable here var, and then city and the string that I given and the Pune. Okay, and if you print, okay, you can directly print here as a city and hit the enter, or you can give here name as city. So whenever I want to pass some string before that, city name is, or we need to pass here plus. Okay, so let's see. We got it right. The city name is Pune. So you got it right. And the second thing what we have learned, that is there are two types, right? Okay. So previously here, if you see the city, we have assigned some Pune name, right? And if I want to change city is equal to some other variable like other name Mumbai. Okay, Mumbai is spelled it. Okay, yeah, Mumbai, and when I run it, so the value will get changed. Okay, the city name is Mumbai, so now the value is changed. If I do here val, okay, and the value, the first thing initially we are giving Pune. If you see here one red line coming out, and okay, so and when we are trying to run it, see the reassignment to value 5, reassign to value Mumbai city, means like it's assigning Mumbai to the val variable, means like the val variable we cannot change. And the last point was the type inference. Let's suppose here I given like a string, so I do not want to specify anything here. Okay, and I try to run. Yeah, I can able to run here. Oh, oops, I need to change. Okay, so yeah, if you see here, city name is Mumbai. We have changed and the city also. And what we if you want to see the type of this, right? We didn't specify any type here, so I want to check the type of that variable. What we need to do, print here. What I'll do here, print ln, and then I would like to give here some print, then uh, print, and then city dot get class. Okay, the class, hit enter and try to run it, so we will get the type. If you see here, it's a string value. Okay, it's giving as a string. I'll show you with the change. Okay, here I would like to give like some fractional numbers. Okay, and I'll comment out these two here. Okay, and I'll try to run it. See here, the city name is 23.4. So it's not the city name, just we were we passed years as a string, so that's why it's showing. And if you see here the last the word which we have is a double, it's giving as a double. If I change to some integer value, okay, and let me run again. So it must have to have as a integer instead of double. Hey, got it right. It's a integer that. So this is mean the type inference. So we do not need to specify the type. So it will compiler automatically figure out what type of that variable we are going to store. So this is what in today's practical. And if you like, please subscribe to my channel and hit the bell icon so you will get the latest notification from our channel. So for today, it's enough, and bye bye. We'll meet in the next lecture.